Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Anton, and today's request is from all of you guys, because you guys all voted on Phil Collins to be our Artist of the Month, and you all voted on Against All Odds to kick off our Artist of the Month, which is interesting because I've never even heard of this song. Against All Odds, I've never even heard of that title before. So I'm excited. You guys know Phil Collins is literally top 5 on the channel for me. I'm a massive Phil Collins fan. Phil and Peter Gabriel, I love them both. But sit back, relax, and let's get into Phil Collins Against All Odds. Take a look at me now.
I just let you walk away, just let you leave without a trace. When I stand here taking everything with you.
His vocal tone is so perfect live too. Wow.
You're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me?
What a beard.
You're the only one who really knew me at all. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space, and there's nothing left here to remind me.
Wow.
Just a memory of your face. Take a look at me now. Just an empty space, and you coming back to me is against all odds, and that's what I've got to face.
He has like the best vocal tone. It's like it's just perfect.
I wish I could just make it turn around and see me cry.
All those background vocals too.
Why you're the only one who knew me at all. So take a look at me now, 'cause there's just an empty space, and there's nothing left here to remind me. Just a memory of your face. Take a look at me now. Just an empty space, but to wait for you, well, that's all I can do, and that's what I've got to face. Take a good look at me now, 'cause I'll still be standing here.
Man, Phil is so passionate.
Coming back to me is against all odds, and that's a chance I've got to take.
He's kind of doing like the Phil Collins there a bit in the air tonight.
Just take a look at me now.
Damn, dude, Phil Collins is... Wow. He has so many hits, you know? And yeah, like he almost seems like an impossibility to me, actually. Like just how talented he is, and how many like hit after hit after hit after hit, and like, you know, how many, like, wasn't he in like 4 soundtracks in like the 90s or something? Like he was in Tarzan, and then I think he was in, you hear him come up, I think he was probably in like 3 or 4 or something. But you know, just all of the hits he's had, and just like, yeah, his vocal tone is like perfect. Like literally, he has so much like natural soul in his voice. and he can kind of do everything. Like he's a master of the ad libs. He can go just unleash that power, you know what I mean? And it's wild, you know. I'm kind of a bit speechless on it, actually, because I've already said so much about Phil Collins, and it's just like it's like I don't think he's ever made a song yet that I haven't liked. And especially the chorus is always pop, you know what I mean? And the only thing about this one, as much as I really enjoy this, I felt like the song, maybe because Phil Collins usually like always has these big bridges. I think like I wanted like a bigger bridge in this one. And this is just my kind of opinion. This is just what I would have wanted. But I felt this one was a bit cleaner on the songwriting side. I felt like the song didn't really, you know, blow up into anything massive. Especially because he did have hints of the song of him hitting some pretty powerful notes. So this was a song that could have probably went bigger. And also I think it was because with the drummer, when he was doing those kind of epic fills, like the In the Air Tonight, I think it kind of, in my head, it made me think of In the Air Tonight. You know, when he was doing that role. And then because In the Air Tonight has just such a massive bridge, and then the whole second half of the song is like a different entity than the first half, I think because of there's some similarities a bit with In the Air Tonight, with this one, yeah, I felt like this was a bit one note throughout the entire thing. I didn't really feel like it changed that much, you know what I mean? Which is a tiny criticism, especially for Phil Collins. And it's an unfair criticism at the same time too, because I'm essentially comparing him with other stuff he's done that is some of the best songs of all time. And, you know, again, not every song can be identical song structure to every other one, because then it would be all the same. You almost need something that is a bit more like radio friendly, radio edited, so that you can have those other bigger songs that do these kind of more wild experimental things. Like even Home by the Sea, with him and Genesis, like that song just, I think in some sense I'm used to Phil Collins songs doing something different. Even what was the one about homelessness? I'm blanking on it. The one all about homelessness, black and white video. But that one, I forget what it's called. But yeah, like that one, just all of the stuff usually kind of evolves. And then, yeah, so I think it's an unfair criticism, because the song is great anyway. You know, just again, great vocal melodies. Like I said, I really liked his vocal tone and everything. But yeah, I think when it was over, I'm like, oh, really? Like it's already, that was it actually. Is as the song was ending, I was like, huh. I thought this was going to go somewhere else. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to go somewhere else. And when it finished, I felt like it was kind of like a bit incomplete. You know what I mean? But let's jump in the lyrics of this one now. All right, and we're back. And now let's see what Phil Collins told Mojo in 2015. Against All Odds was written in the same misery that the rest of Face Value came from, but I wasn't drawn to it initially. I didn't like it as much as You Know What I Mean, and I thought there was only room for one of those on the album. I don't know what would have happened to it if Taylor Hackford hadn't got in touch. Interesting. So Face Value, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm thinking that is In the Air Tonight was on that Value, that album. And then he also said in 2007, that song was written during my first divorce. My first wife and the kids had gone, and I was left there. The song was written out of experience as opposed to a what if song. Wait a minute. Does he do a lot of what if songs? It's actually interesting. Like, I'm so used to artists only singing about their experiences, right? So, like, the idea of people doing what if songs, that kind of feels foreign to me. But it makes sense, especially, like, let's say, like, you're in a happy place in your life or something. Like, I think I heard that Sarah McLachlan kind of became happy later in her life, and a lot of people were worried that if she became happy, she wouldn't be able to write the same caliber of songs that she was known for. And well, the good thing is I think you can just kind of keep writing what if songs. If that personal stuff had not happened to me at the time, I probably would have never made an album. And if I was to have made an album, eventually it probably would have been a jazz rock thing. Whoa. Without that stuff, I wouldn't have felt the stuff I felt sitting at the piano night after night, day after day, writing stuff. Very interesting. So upbeat stuff is more jazz and rock. And then it makes sense. Yeah, the deep, emotional pain stuff is sitting at a piano like Adele, Phil Collins, Tori Amos. Was Face Value a more piano-driven record? Because that's interesting too. But yeah, it's at the aftermath of a breakup. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can relate to any of this. How can I just let you walk away? Just let you leave without a trace? When I stand here taking every breath with you. You're the only one who really knew me at all. How can you just walk away from me when all I can do is watch you leave? Because we've shared the laughter and the pain and even shared the tears. You're the only one who really knew me at all. I'm curious why they broke up. Because even that's an interesting thing to say, you know? Like, you're the only one who really knew me at all. Like, it kind of, like, it feels to me like he still cares about her. Like, there's still a part of him that, like, he really loves her. Like, she was there for him through the dark times. So I'm curious. Again, like, I've heard rumors that Phil Collins is... I don't know if I heard rumors he was an asshole. Maybe he was just perfectionistic. I heard something negative about Phil Collins. And let me know if you guys know what that is. Like, what is he known for being? Because, yeah, that might... Maybe he's just, like, kind of a tortured creative, which could have someone leave. Because, again, that's an interesting statement. You're the only one who really knew me at all. It feels like, yeah, like he still kind of needs her and he still kind of wants her. So take a look at me now while there's just an empty space and there's nothing left here to remind me. Just the memory of your face. Oh, take a look at me now while there's just an empty space. And you coming back to me is against the odds. And that's what I've got to face. I wish I could just make you turn around and see me cry. There's so much I need to say to you. So many reasons why. Yeah. So she walked away. Yeah, I wish I could make you turn around. I wish I could make you come back. So take a look at me now while there's just an empty space. Take a good look at me now, because I'll still be standing here, and you coming back to me is against all odds. It's the chance I've got to take. Yeah, his first marriage and his kids. Wow. I'd like to actually hear an interview with Phil Collins talk about this kind of stuff. I always find this stuff very interesting. Because, like, a lot of breakups happen, and there's just, like, kind of anger and blame. And I really find it fascinating and interesting, and I have a lot of compassion for breakups where somebody really kind of takes ownership. And it's like, yeah, you know, I shouldn't have pushed you away. Like, you know, especially if there's, like, a really self-reflective moment. Like, I realize, like, you know, that's why I love that song Cold by Crossfade so much, right? Because it was all about him realizing how he pushed everybody in his life away to pursue music, right? And I find even that, like, an interesting theme, an interesting archetypal relationship is, like, the artist who's just obsessed with their work. And then they don't have any emotional space or time for the people they love in their lives. And then it's like, you know, they only reflect on what went wrong when something's taken away from them. And that's the interesting thing about life too, is that so much of the time we only realize we did something wrong when, like, life slaps us in the face, when life takes something from us, when someone leaves, you know what I mean? It's like, it's too bad that, yeah, we only change our ways and we only grow when that happens. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of makes you wonder, like, I wish I could have realized this about myself. I wish I could have listened when my wife told me for the 1000th time that she doesn't feel valued or she doesn't feel seen. And I know I'm putting words in his mouth. I don't know what his story is, but I'm just reflecting on my own life and stuff and kind of reflecting on this from my standpoint, that it's like a lot of the time I think like we wish that, we could have noticed all of the flags, you know what I mean? Like the red flags of our own behavior as we're going through them. But so much of the time, I think like we're just like, oh yeah, they'll be here forever. You know what I mean? I don't need to change. It's not a big deal. They're being over dramatic. They don't understand me or whatever. And it's interesting. It's only like when you lose them that you go like, whoa, you know, maybe I am like hard to live with, hard to deal with, you know? So it's interesting. I can relate to a degree. I don't think I've ever actually been in this position where like I lost something I really valued, because so many of the relationships I've had or the flings or whatever, I lost something that wasn't that great to begin with. You know what I mean? Like I never felt like I'd lost something incredible, and a lot of the time I didn't really feel like they really were the only one who knew me. Like I had a lot of support systems, so I never kind of put all of my eggs in one basket in one person. So I can kind of extrapolate and relate to Phil, but the very depth of this, and that's even an interesting thing to say too, you're the only one. Like, I wonder what Phil's relationship with his mother and his father was. Or best friends. I wonder how close his support system is at this point of his life, you know what I mean? Because again, that's kind of a telling statement. You're the only one who really knew me at all. Like even if I was to date somebody right now and we were to break up, I don't think I could say that. Because like my friends know me so well. My mother knows me incredibly well. Again, I have a lot of mentors and friends, very close friends who know me at such an intimate level that I have a lot of people who I share myself with. So I'm curious what, Phil felt like at this part of his life. Like, you know, there was kind of one person. And that, I don't know, that's what kind of comes to me, is that there's this person that, like, again, all he had was like this relationship and music. And he chose music and fame, or whatever, music and the whole creative process over the relationship. That's kind of what's coming to me. I could be wrong. But again, just some of these statements that kind of leads me to thinking that way. But again, I don't know. And let me know down below if you know the story of this song and this album. Let me know kind of what, and what is kind of in the zeitgeist about Phil Collins. What is he kind of admitted to about himself? What are his chief demons? You know what I mean? But anyway, this was Phil Collins, Against All Odds. So overall, I like this song. I didn't love it. It's not my favorite Phil Collins song we've done, but I think lyrically is one of my favorites. Yeah, I really connect with the lyrics in this one. Yeah, they really kind of had me reflecting. Yeah, this is one of my favorite lyrics by him. And I like this song. Again, I think this one will grow on me. You know what? Like, because again, this song was like very good. I don't know if I'll say great, because again, like In the Air Tonight I think is great. This song might be great though. Maybe like on the 5th listen, like everything will just fucking click and I'll be like, this song is perfect the way it is. I love it. Everything sticks out, because that happens sometimes. It takes sometimes 5 listens for something to really kind of come together in my head. Again, because the first listen, you're kind of comparing it to what you've heard before, and then if it's too different, you don't like it because it's not similar enough to what you know you like. So it's kind of an interesting balance, I think, with artists actually, is like, how do you make a song? And again, hopefully they actually don't think about this. Hopefully they just make art and let it kind of come naturally. But, you know, those are the analytical artists. They might actually think like, how do we make a song that's different enough to be unique, but not too different that it alienates people? And then how do we make something that's similar enough to something we've done that people will like it, but not too similar that ends up kind of like my experience of this song, feeling like this reminds me of a better song. You know what I mean? But I think what's going to happen, as I said, is I think on subsequent listens, it's going to click. And I think I'm going to start to understand its own unique identity within Phil Collins's his back catalog, you know what I mean? But what were your thoughts on this one? Let me know down below, and what are your favorite Phil Collins songs? And we've done a lot of Phil Collins, so if you want to go on the Phil Collins journey with me, click right here, and I'll see you in the next one.